back, everybody, to Icewind, Rime, and the Frostmaiden. I'm glad to have everybody here. Jonathan, welcome back. Melissa, happy birthday. And welcome in. When last you guys were here, first I'll give a quick overview of the world just to remind everybody, since it's been a while since we've all been together. You find yourselves in the far northern glacier capped area of Turiel, known as the Icewind Dale, in the 10 towns that surround Kelvin's Cairn, the volcanic mountain in the center. The entire world has been locked off by a never-ending winter and never-ending night of ice and snow, which the locals blame on the goddess of winter's fury, a goddess by the name of Ariel, who they claim is casting a spell overnight, causing these terrible auroras to fill the sky and prevent the sun from ever fully rising, causing the never-ending winter. The local denizens have been sacrificing humans and sacrificing warmth and sacrificing food and things of that nature to appease the goddess, none of which has been working. Some other locals blame evil wizards from the Arcane Brotherhood, one of which was burned in the city of East Haven when you first arrived, when our adventure first began, as the cause. So there's a bit of debate amongst the locals. You were initially hired by a dwarven woman named Helen Trollbane, who told you she had been studying a series of killings that had been going on, with iced daggers stabbed into the heart of locals, particularly those in cities that were sacrificing humans. Helen told you, you learned later, or maybe Helen told you, I can't recall, that these were folks through their political connections that had managed to escape their fate. She told you that a man by the name of Sefik Keltro was the one responsible. You went on some other excursions around, exploring the 10 towns and helping the denizens. You rescued mead from Verbeeg marauders, and you successfully rescued the town of Dugan's Hole from awakened winter wolves that were the previous mates of a frost giant that had been slain there in his mammoth. You destroyed the monster of Mert Weldwin in the city of Bremen, and you did some other things. Eventually, you made your way all the way around the mountain peak, discovering some secrets of the world that indeed, perhaps the secret key to all of this is some sort of buried city under the glaciers, and you were pointed in various directions. You had learned about a group of people that had been risen from the dead or rescued from their frosty graves after being lost in the woods, particularly one, the son of a Cora Malfoon by the name of Hurwar, who had found, after looking for the missing speaker of the town of Bremen, had gone off with a group of tiefling people bearing strange daggers around their neck made out of a strange crystalline substance. You discovered a plot by Dwergar, deep dwarves that had been infiltrating in the city of Caer Konig, stealing crystalline substances that you later learned was in fact shardolin, shards of the once famous crystal shard. You tracked them eventually back to their outpost base, where you discovered that there are a band of several brothers of them that have been operating in secret around the 10 towns. You took prisoner one of said brothers, and several of his other comrades escaped. You drug them back to the local town of Caer Konig, where you put them in possession of Trovis, the speaker of that town, and you were on your way to the city of East Haven, where you were initially hired by Helen, and was another one of the locations that you were told to sort of potentially head back to. Not only was Helen there, but you had learned that the Dwergar threat had set up a secret base there on the by reading one of the letters in the Dwergar base in the frozen over ferry of East Haven. On your way to East Haven, you have entered the town of Caer Denival, which actually has the castle keep still in shape. You found there a group of what seemed to be devil worshippers who are worshipping or followers, I suppose, of one of the Lords of the Nine Hells, and by the name of Levistus. And they, strangely, I suppose, have granted you an audience and have given you room and board to stay. You were given a prophecy by the soothsayer of the cult, an old woman by the name of Hethel. And Hethel told you that Zardoc Sunblight, who is the lord of the Dwergar that you have found around, will conquer the Icewind Dale unless you defeat him. That he has a fortress on the surface, hidden somewhere in the spine of the world, containing a forge powered by the still beating heart of a red dragon, and that he plans for the systemic destruction of the 10 towns, which the characters, which you could potentially stop. And face him too early, and death may await you. But anyways, you were granted a place to sleep in the library, where you found the burnt-out remains of an ancient tome that told you a little bit more about the Shardom. And in the library, sleeping, or the night has passed, and you have been able to collect a long rest. So everybody can take a long rest if you need one. You find yourselves in the library. All right. So let me turn down the wind just a touch. Let me know, audio check. How loud is the sound? Too loud? Just right?
Probably a little too loud.
Okay. I felt like it was a little bit too quiet on the recording last time, so I really should do audio checks before I get deep into it. Okay. All right. You find yourselves in the library. The morning comes after the long rest, and the door creaks open, and well, does the door creak open?
It's a well cared for door.
The door creaks open, and there are two individuals in cult robes, a young man and a young woman, and they are standing before you. The young man is somewhat heavy set. They are both wearing the pendants with the sword made out of the crystalline chardolin around their necks. And the young man looks over at all of you that have woken up. There were no need for watches. You were under their protection for the night. And he says, Kadrat has bid us give you food and provisions for your future journey. Come, join us and we shall eat. What do you guys say or do?
Well, I'm hesitant, but I mean, if we don't go along with it, then we go ahead and start a fight.
So Ordella is following?
Yep, biting time.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll eat if everybody else does.
Yep.
Okay. I'll bring you down to the dining area. One moment. Let me get these cultists. zoom out. This map is too big. And I'm going to grab you. You follow them down the stairs. And we are over here now at the bottom of the steps, where you enter sort of a large dining hall area. I don't know if there is a dining hall. Yeah, the wind is a little quieter in here, but still you can hear it whipping outside. They bid you to sort of grab seats at the tables, which you guys do, and several other of the cult members sort of begin to filter around. Harkus, you still have the cat. What are you doing with the cat? You know the cat belongs to the leader of this cult.
So I think at this point the cat is probably like climbed up on my shoulder, and as we're walking around, I'm just sort of feeding it little bits of
Making it love you.
Yeah.
Yeah, are you going to try to like hide the cat or anything like that?
No, the cat's clearly chosen me at this point.
Okay, roll me animal handling.
I don't really know where that is.
I feel like with a cat,
There
this
it
should
is.
be disadvantaged.
If that's true. The cat chooses you out of convenience.
Hey, much like parenting and marriage, you just use what you got.
Truth.
That's the strategy, I suppose. That's not bad. Yeah, the cat is seemingly bonded with you. You have handled the animal well.
I think you need to roll that check like every 5 minutes or so with a cat.
I mean, nobody would ever have a cat in this game.
True. Cat's like, I'm
the-
done, bye.
And
The
it just
team-
gets incrementally harder as the time goes on.
The tiefling man that you met yesterday that told you, basically gave up the ghost and told you that you're the enemy of his enemy, and that the Dwergar threat Zardoc is under the influence of the archdevil, rival of Levistus, and that they are willing to aid you as long as you are actively working against their enemy. Their enemies here. Kadrith enters and looks at all of you and says, "Well, good morning. We will provide food and any necessary supplies for you on your journey. Which direction are you headed? We can provide maps. We do not have sleds or dogs, but we can provide you with food and provision." And he looks over to his right and he says, "Hurwar, bring our guests some breakfast." And the young, sort of overweightish man that you had got you out of your rooms proceeds into another room that you presume is like the kitchen, and then a few moments later comes out with like bowls of porridge and starts distributing them to all of you. And Kadrith has asked you where you are headed. How do you respond? I suppose he would directly ask maybe Granite Guts.
Granite Guts has his mouth full of porridge.
He looks over at all of you and he says, "My friends, we only seek to provide you aid in your arduous journey. We need not be at odds. What supplies need you? And he turns, I guess, to maybe to you, Robot.
I mean, we do need.
He has different needs than we do.
Well, I mean, we do need. This is Team Huddle. We do need supplies to explore the frozen north, probably, if we are indeed chasing down these barbarian reindeer people.
It says, you intend to seek out the local nomads.
Jeff, this was a Team Huddle.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason I didn't know how to respond.
DM. All right. I tell you what, for realism, here we go.
Okay, so I really think we could probably use the supplies to navigate the frozen north, because we've had some issues with like exhaustion when we tried to climb the super cold mountain, and having supplies would be nice. I just don't know how much to reveal to this dude about what we're doing up there. Like, should we tell him we're looking for ancient castle ruins, or perhaps keep that close to the vest?
I think we could probably keep everything vague and just, say some cold weather gear, climbing gear, food rations, and not specifically, hey, do you have anything that'll help us, get in this specific place?
It feels like anything we take from them is a deal with the devil.
I feel that way too.
I do not like these people in the
I'm
slightest.
hesitant to take anything, but it's like, we need stuff.
At the same time, I understand their motivations, and I feel like that using them to our own ends, I'm grudgingly okay with, but these are not good people.
No, but it's like, what's going to be the cost?
That being said, if we use them to knock out another tougher enemy, then we probably could then turn on these guys. This doesn't have to be a long-term relationship. This can be a short-term fling, if you will.
You're suggesting we hook up with the devil.
Just for a night or two.
Dump them in the morning.
One night.
One night stand.
I mean, what?
Oh, he's back. Stop talking about him.
How bad could
Godrith looks over at all of you and says, Asmodeus got your tongue? Sorry.
See, the thing is that these people are all dead. They're
only mostly dead.
They've already died, and they're now just thralls of this demon. And so I don't feel like they're just sort of pawns. So if we can use them to our own ends, I don't think long term I'm okay with them going about their business. That's eventually they're going to have to be cleaned up. Like I as Granite Guts do not like these people. I think they're abominations.
We'll clean this mess up later.
That being said,
so what do you tell him you need?
Undeniably useful. I just don't know what to tell them, where we should, where to point these.
We'll just carry it with us and lead them off guard. Off track. Oh yeah, we're totally going south as we go east or something.
Okay, so what are you revealing to Kadrith? Where are you telling him you're going, and what are you telling him you want, or are you going to decline any assistance? Are you all eating the porridge?
I suppose we are.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess so.
Okay. Let me just roll something here. It's just DM messing with you. What does Harkus think? He's been quiet through all of this.
I too am very suspicious.
Okay.
And
Well, he says to you all, since you all sort of are kind of like seem uncertain as to what to say at the table or whatever it is, he sort of asks you this. He says, well, we can provide you with winter coats, boots, ammunition, rations. We have arms in the armory if you need bows or blades. Winter survival gear. We shall fill your tankards with ale or whiskey if you so choose. I don't recommend water, as it will freeze inside of your water skins.
Oh, I'll take a flask full of whiskey.
He takes your flask and fills it up with some actually really nice whiskey. It's way better than this whatever I'm drinking. How do you guys respond to that?
thank you, much obliged.
He snaps his hands and he says, "Hurwar! Please bring our guests the necessary provisions for their journeys." He looks over at you all and he says, "My friends, it is quite all right. You don't have to tell me where you're headed. The Vistus knows all and sees all." And with that he says, "Enjoy your meal and our hospitality. You may leave whenever you like to continue on your journey." And with that, the doty young man comes back with like bags of supplies, several backpacks with some winter clothing. All of your like water skins are filled with drink of your choice, and you are given full supply of rations. I'm going to roll a quick perception check real fast here. What is perception? What is he does not. 16? Okay. He looks over at all of you and he says, "Touche. Come."
Touche, come to daddy.
Come. And the cat's
More-
just sort of
More
crawling around.
jerky. More jerky.
Yeah, I'm going to roll an animal handling check. Animal handling is based off of wisdom, I think. Is that a wisdom-based skill? I can't remember.
You guys are gonna have to like fight it out for the cat.
Charisma. Animal handling is charisma. So he's going to try to beat your 16. Oh, nope. He rolls a 15, so the cat doesn't come to him. The cat like curls around you, and he looks over and he smiles a bit, and he says, "Take good care of him. He has been he's been a loyal companion." And the cat just sort of like rubs up against your neck and purrs a little bit.
I'm just very, very sort of quietly, I'm just going to say, he likes the snacks.
And Kodrith looks over and he says, with like a bit of a smirk, he says, "Indeed. Indeed. Take care of him." And he says, "I take my leave. My studies call me. Good luck to you all in your journeys. Safe travels on the road. I hope we have been able to aid you in our mutual endeavor. And Kadrith starts to head. He heads back through the room where you'd seen him yesterday, by where Thub was, and then back into what you presume is his office. Several of the other cult members are sort of silently sitting around, finishing their porridge. And the young tiefling girl that you met yesterday as things were being cleaned up, named Mir, comes out of the kitchen, and she looks over at you all, and you're sitting around the table eating with these people, and she has a bit of like a disturbed look on her face when you see her, and she sort of quietly like lowers her head down and sort of like and begins to collect the plates. And you all have free reign. You've been fully provisioned with winter gear and food. And the other cultists are beginning to sort of pack up their stuff and go about their business. As you've been sitting with them, Granite Guts, I'm just going to give you this insight. They're definitely not dead. They're not dead. They're not undead. They're not like zombies. But it's almost like their souls are prisoners of the Archdevil. Like, think like a person that has sold their soul to the devil.
To Granite Guts, these people are dead.
So that means like
because they have arrested the path that they were supposed to take to die.
Gotcha. Since their soul is no longer in their possession, they are as good as dead to you.
Not necessarily. They were supposed to die. Nature ordained them to die. And through this deal with this demon, they are pawns of this demon, but the moment that deal is done, then they go back to their natural path of presumably, which is dead. So these people are dead.
It's like Final Destination.
Yep.
So to Granite Guts, once he had the insight of the connection to like the reason why these people are connected to the demon, he's just sort of taken aback and appalled, and he's like, well, these people are all dead, or they should be.
And the last one to leave is the young man that everyone has been called Hurawar. And you remember that he is indeed Hurawar Malfoon, the son of Cora Malfoon, the proprietor of the buried treasures who ran off with the tieflings. And he bids you all good day and begins to ascend the steps along with the other cultists. And they all make their way out of the room. You have not seen the speaker of town, Chronic Severe, since you saw him being held captive in his room, basically. Drug out to give some speeches every now and then like re-imprisoned in his bedroom. But he has not come down for breakfast or anything. You presume that food has been brought to him in his house arrest. Do you guys head out on the road now, or what do you guys do?
Are we alone in here?
There is just the tiefling Mir. I'm sorry, the young woman. Yeah, young tiefling girl Mir, who is picking up the plates silently.
But none of the others are still in here?
None of the other cultists are in there right now.
Can I motion her over? And I'm not going to say it loudly, but I'm just going to ask her, does she want to leave?
She looks at you and she says, she just nods like yes.
I look around at the rest of the party and I ask, are we ready to leave?
I think so.
Okay. I reach out and I just say, may I, as I'm reaching out towards Mir, and I touch her and I cast invisibility. And I whisper, follow us.
And she sort of like audibly gasps a little bit as she can no longer like see herself. And If you could see her, you could see that she's very frightened. I tell you what, we're going to roll for this. What's your passive persuasion, Toot?
12.
Okay. She has a... Hang on. That's not right. I gotta find her stats. Near the Tiefling girl. She's a commoner. 0. Okay. She sort of like shakes her head like, no, she's afraid. Are you gonna try to persuade her to come with you?
Sure.
What are you saying? How are you doing it? She seems to be afraid. Like, she whispers back at you as you say that. She says, "He'll come after me. He'll hurt me."
We can get you out of here, but it's up to you. If you don't want to go, don't come. But this is your opportunity.
Okay, roll persuasion. No, that was a much worse roll. Oh, yeah. She nods and starts to follow you. And you guys move out, I suppose. And you are out on the streets of Caer Denival. The guards open the gates for you, and you are allowed to exit the Caer. It is morning time. Probably since you've had breakfast, it was an early breakfast. You're outside of the Caer now, over here. I don't know. We'll say like 9 a.m., something like that. It is a day's journey to the town to the city of East Haven, which is where you were headed. As you have learned about the Dwergar threat there, and you were told that that was a place to go, as it was the initial place that you started. That was kind of where you guys had planned to head previously. Mir is with you on the streets, and she looks over at you, Toot, and she says, "I can come with you. I can't fight. But I can come." You're muted, Laterne.
I just said that we can take you to the next city that we come to and try to find a place for you there.
She smiles and says, "Okay. I'll bring you to the map. You're in the city of Caer Denival, and I'll bring you to the Icewind map." We're no longer in the inside of the Caer. We are outside. So we're on the streets of Caer Denival. It is blustery and windy and... Whew. I'll turn it down just a bit again. Gracious, Syrinscape likes it to be loud. Like, thank you, Syrinscape, for everything must be as loud as possible. All right. So you're here in Caer Denival. Not Caercon, in Caer Denival. And you were headed towards East Haven. Are we continuing on along the road here to the East Way and then over? No
That's
argument.
Safest, yeah.
Just always giving you guys the options. If you were like, we want to travel off-road because we might be followed, or because like we're worried about X, Y, or Z.
Let's stick to the path.
Okay. I always just want to make sure. I'm not trying to like put thoughts in your heads. Okay. It is a fairly good journey from there. It's about 7 miles to there, and then 4, 5, 6, So it's like 13 miles. It is a long journey through rugged tundra. You don't have to have anyone really like leading the way. Gosh, turn down the creepy. Sorry. We don't need anybody really leading the way because it's a fairly well-traveled road. You arrive in the city of East Haven unmolested and without any major events along the way. Takes you the entire day to do it, though. So as you arrive into the city of East Haven, it is dusk, or night has fallen. It is dark, dark, dark. I'll bring you to the city map of East Haven. You guys enter from the Eastway, which is over here. It's a fairly good-sized city. You have previously been at the Wet Trout, which is where you met Hillen Trollbane, and then you met up with a gentleman who saw Toot doing stand-up comedy in the Wet Trout, and offered him free room and board at the White Lady in exchange for offering his comedy services. So you know about those two places. Where do you guys head? You also learned about the rumors about the East Haven docks that have been frozen over. You actually met the proprietor of the East Haven docks when you first started the adventure in the Wet Trout. It's dark as you enter the city. The city guard lets you pass without any argument or anything like that. Where do you guys head? What do you do?
If it's not too late, if everything's not closed, I would like to find a place where I can buy some healing potions, and also a shop with some thread.
Most of the shopping like that has probably shut down since it is now after dark. You have traveled the entire day. The taverns, inns, bars, and eating establishments are still active. There may be one or two stores open around. If you're going to spend, if you're going to look, you might find a few things, but yeah.
That's okay. I can do that tomorrow. In that case, I'm going to look for a place that's going to have fish and milk for my cat friend.
For your cat. The closest that you have been to previously is where Toot had residence, at the White Lady that you know of.
Yeah, that's where Toot would want to go, given that we've got a tag along right now.
Okay. Does that seem reasonable? That where we're headed?
Yep.
All right, to the White Lady. You all make your way through the streets of East Haven and into the Inn of the White Lady. I'll bring you there. You enter the inn. It's relatively quiet as you all enter. Let me drag you back to where you would be entering here. And as you do, a familiar face greets you all. And he looks over at you, and you recognize immediately Bartabin, the innkeeper of the White Lady that had offered Toot residence previously. And as you all enter, it's quiet in here. The liveliness and the jovial nature of the inn that was previously present is not quite as jovial as it once was. The bard that used to be there in residence, Rinaldo, that wanted you to do the seance that you sort of bowed out on, is nowhere to be found. Bartabin looks at all of you and says, "Well, bless me souls. If it isn't the comedian Kinku. Toot, as it were.
Bartabin, my old friend.
I thought that you had surely perished. Tales of your deeds stretch far and wide. Come in. I apologize for the lack of jovial entertainment around. Perhaps you could brighten the crowds to some extent.
Oh, I would be happy to. Can I ask a favor, though?
It depends on what it is, I suppose.
Well, I'm willing to pay a little bit for it.
Oh, okay.
I motion over to Mir and have her come over, and I let him know this is Mir. I
She
was
sort of
hoping
bows her
to
head a little bit.
find work for her, and I'd be willing to pay for her room and board for a little bit until she kind of gets her sea legs, as it were.
He looks over at Mir and he says, "Well, girl, do you know anything about working in a place such as this?" And Mir sort of looks up and she says, "I used to clean the dishes and do all of the cooking for my former friends, I suppose. I worked for Speaker Severe in Care Dinival. So I could clean and cook and do dishes." And Bardabin looks over at her and looks back at you and says, "That'll be more than enough, girl. You can stay. It'll be 5 copper a day, and silver if you do a very good job. Any tips you earn are yours to keep. You can stay in one of the rooms." He looks over at you, Toot, and says, "No need to pay. She can earn her way."
Thank you. I'd appreciate it if you would keep an eye out for her. Just make sure that she's taken care of and doesn't. Let's just say that where she came from maybe not have left on the best of terms, and it not necessarily being her fault.
Do we need to maintain a certain discretion?
I mean, it might be best if she worked in the back of the house areas, if that were easier. But if you need her up front, then from time to time.
Very good. The kitchen's over there, girl. You can start now if you like. Do you need food? And she sort of nods a little bit, and he points her back to the line back there where some people are cutting up fish, and he tosses her a little apron and says, looks over at you, Toot, and says, "Well, a performance?"
Absolutely.
And as you begin to perform, or as you step up, a little bit of murmuring sort of grows up, and a little bit more people start to like pay attention as you step up.
Okay, yeah, I will do like a kind of trumpet, like fanfare kind of thing to try to gain more people's attention.
Okay.
And then I will clear my throat and I'll say, my father expired when we were not able to remember his blood type. We kept asking him his blood type, but he kept insisting that we be positive.
Okay. Make me a performance check, please, Toot. Holy shit. Did you just crit that performance check? Holy crap. People there is like raucous laughter sort of erupts amongst the people around here, and you get some applause, and some people start to like whistle a little bit, and Bartabin looks over at the crowd sort of enlarging, and he says, "Ah, that's the life. Haven't seen anything like it in quite an age here. Not since old Ronaldo, well, since what happened to poor old Ronaldo."
What did happen to Ronaldo?
You're giving a performance.
Oh, okay.
Does anybody else can ask that, but Toot is giving a comedy performance right now. But Bartabin sort of says that. Is Toot the only one that would ask that?
No, I'll ask that. I'm curious, like what? Who?
Oh,
Like, do we need to like pull him down or something?
Ronaldo was the bard that was here previously. That like Toot joined, and he was a little bit incensed about the competition. As you ask that, he says, well, old fool, we told him not to. He went through with his seance. Ran out into the night air screaming about ghosts and being haunted, and Lord mercy, if it wasn't that he fell into the lake, ne'er seen him again. Surely drowned. Sad tale. But there's no such thing as ghosts of any white ladies of the lake. It's just old tales fishermen tell. I mean, that's not to say there's not ghosts and spirits and demons and things of the like, but I ain't never seen any white lady. Old Rinaldo scared himself, white as a ghost. Oh, poor fella. Dead as it were, I suppose. The Frostmaiden claims another soul. But hey, at least the Ice Dagger murders have stopped, eh? We haven't heard any more of them around the streets. So, there's that. And Toot, continue your performance with a crit. I think that you just give the best performance throughout the night. You don't even have to have any more like checks or anything. It's just
Okay. I'll give one more joke. At the boss's funeral, a disgruntled employee kneeled next to the coffin and whispered, "Who's thinking outside the box now, Gary?"
Okay, roll me a performance. Roll me a performance check. Holy shit.
Wow.
The crowd just starts, there's tons of applause. People are going bananas. And Bartabin, actually people start filing in off the streets as Toot's comedy set is just going crazy. And there's just more and more people piling into the bar. Bartabin smiles and looks over at all of you and goes, "Rooms and food on the house. It's yours. It's yours." Toot, for 2 crits in a row, you get tossed probably 20 gold worth of tips onto the stage.
Nice.
As
Nice.
you collect tons of tips. The night grows long. You all are able to eat, drink, and make merry. Mir is given work. She seems much happier to be here than where she was previously. Toot, you're a hit in the bar, and eventually the crowds and general hubbub dies down. People start filing out eventually, and old Bartabin looks over at you and he says, "My good Toot, please tell me, what will it take? Stay here. Don't leave. The lady needs you. That was the best night of business that I've had in an age since you left. What will it take? You made 20 gold in one night. I mean, free room board in these times and riches. Surely adventuring can't be better than that."
What else can you offer?
You drive a hard bargain, too. Might as well. I mean, gee, see what else you can get out of it.
Two crits, it's fair.
He looks over at you and says, "Well, I don't have contracted monies that I can guarantee, but if you could bring in the patrons and the riches like that, I could give you a share of the night's take. Say, on top
We'll
of
count you as his heir.
on top of the tips that you earn, the free food and the free lodging, 5% of the night's take?"
So it's night. What would 5% be?
He says, "I haven't done the math. I don't. I haven't done the accounting. I don't know." He's being honest, as far as you could tell. He doesn't know how much he's taken in. But he does look and he says, "I tell you this, 'twas the best night I've had in a while. I've gotten at least 500 gold.
I'll tell him, let me think about it. Give me a couple days. Then I'll smile at him and
The offer
ask for
stands.
another drink.
He passes you a honey mead, and yeah, it's he says, well, the offer stands anytime. If you get done with your adventuring, you can be my partner. And you all are allowed to go to rooms if you so choose. Bartman will show you to. The White Lady doesn't really have like private rooms. It has one open like lodge area. But you all are welcome to stay there. Is the crew settling down for the night? Okay.
Yeah.
We all
as
in
you
the room.
there are very few other patrons. There's
Well, I mean,
Bartman.
like at where we're going to sleep at, because it was an open room, right?
Yeah, it's an open room. There is I don't know, let's roll and see. I'm gonna roll 1d6 minus 1. No, 1d4 minus 1. So if I roll a 1, there's 0. 1d4 minus 1. There are 2 other people sleeping in the room. Both of them look completely conked out.
As we're going, are we all going in at the same time, or are people staying out?
It's up to y'all.
Before I join the others in the sleeping quarters, I'm gonna walk over to Miri and just tell her, I think we've been here before and we've spent time with these people and these are good people. Be very quiet about your history is my word to you. And you may want to take on a new name and make this a new beginning for yourself. This is a good place. They'll treat you well.
She thanks you and kind of bows her head and says, I haven't thought of a new name. Maybe I'll be... I have no idea what she should be named. She doesn't know. I'll be Josephine. And
Plantwad, how does that sound to you?
Kind of boring. She says, well, I'm not that creative. And she thanks you. And actually, she is given like room in the same like sleeping area quarters that you are. One of the like cots and bedding is hers to stay in. Everybody turning in or having a team powwow or anything?
And I think as we're going in there, I'm just gonna look around at the others and go, I hope I wasn't too brazen to make that judgment call earlier. I couldn't leave her there.
No.
Well,
No, I think that's the right thing to do.
I think it was a very good call. Whether or not it has consequences remains to be seen. But
Oh, I'm sure there'll be consequences. But for right now.
for the moment, all is well. The night passes without any major events. The morning comes, and Bartabin actually wakes you all in the morning. He says, "Ah, best news, my friends, my friends. We have received word. Word of your deeds travels far and wide. Dude, I did not know that you were such heroes. Saviors of Dugan's Hole, rescuers of the mead of Goodmead, destroyers of the monster of Mer Dweldman. You've been up to much good. And he says, well, we will, I've received word. A special missive. A sending stone message from speaker to speaker has arrived through town. And your presence has been requested by the very speaker of town. Apparently, Trovis of Caer Conic spoke with Daneth Whalen, and word has gone out to all of the local inns that you were headed this way, and to tell you to, when you have the chance, to please speak with Speaker Whalen at Town Hall.
I look around nervously at the rest of the party, and then I say thank you.
And he looks over at you and he says, this is a good thing. Speaker Whalen is a good man. And apparently they have sending spells and sending stones to communicate speaker to speaker. And in fact, I've even heard that Speaker Severe may be involved.
That's awesome.
Anyways,
Horrific.
Speaker
I know,
Dennis,
right?
anyways, Speaker Whalen requests your presence at East Haven City Hall. To remind you other things that you are aware of. So you are aware of Dearth Sunblight, who was the brother of the Sunblight that you turned over to Trovis, had set up camp in the abandoned ferry. The ferry had been frozen over and abandoned, not able to run by its previous operator, who was basically drinking in the wet trout, spending his time drinking away. And you were also hired by Hillen Trollbane here, who owes you monies for your destruction of Sefik Keltro, and you have his Frostbrand sword to show as evidence of his demise. Hillen had offered you 100 pieces of gold, basically each, to apprehend him and deal with him. So, morning has come. You're on the streets of East Haven.
I'll look over at Ardella and I'll point at the thing that's floating around her head and say, isn't this where you got that from?
Yes, Ordella swiped this from swiped it from the local vendor here. You went into one of the local
I
magic
don't know what
shops.
you're talking about.
You went into one of the local magic shops and then you robbed them.
What? There were no witnesses.
Yes, they had a chest that was secured as a living mimic that then attacked you after you had committed your robbery.
Hopefully that won't come up at the speakers meeting.
Hopefully not.
You know, it might. Morning has come. You guys are in East Haven. You're on the streets of East Haven. Where are you guys headed? The town is more bustling than some of the others that you've been at. You're currently here at the White Lady Inn. You've been told where Town Hall is, since... Yeah, get some pistachios. You've been told where Town Hall is, so Town Hall is this building here. And you know where the East Haven Ferry is. It's that right there. You also know where the wet trout is. You assume you might be able to find Hillen Trollbane there.
So, on the way to go and get my money, I would like to find some healing potions and some yarn. And
Okay.
perhaps a market to play some market roulette if one is open in this cold, cold weather.
There is a magical shop. It has a familiar air to it, as you've robbed it previously.
Should we get our money before we try to buy for places we don't have the money to spend? And
That wasn't a problem last time.
well,
I have
Is this
money.
conversation actually happening? I hope it is.
I think I'm going to avoid certain shops
You can. It's a big
just
city.
in case.
It's a fairly big city. There are other
Security
there are other
mimics.
there are other potion and magical shops. Yeah, so you're owed 100 gold each by Helen, who's offered you 100 gold. So you can collect your reward from her if you need monies, and then you can definitely shop in East Haven.
Mhm.
Your presence has been requested by the Speaker of Town at Town Hall, and you know something about the East Haven Ferry.
I think I'd like to collect my money first.
Same.
Okay.
I like monies.
So the last place you knew where Helen was the Wet Trout on the opposite side of town. Are you going to ask about where's Helen Trollbane? Where can we find her? Or are you going to head over to the Wet Trout and just ask people there? Or just look around?
Maybe she goes there for morning mimosas.
Yeah, it's a big city, so probably start there.
Okay.
Might run into her.
You guys start making your way through the city. On your way there, you see several potion majig shops. You see vendors that are selling things. People sort of make some note of you as you are moving through the city streets, as if you're starting to get maybe recognized a little bit.
It's the people from the wanted posters.
There was a people are pointing.
I just like pulled my collar up a little bit more.
You hear whispers of an entire merchant gang being an entire merchant crew being slaughtered in the city of Lonelywood. You know, that sort of thing. Actually, no, it wasn't in Lonelywood where you slaughtered them. You were up in where were you?
Tamerlane?
Tamerlane. Yeah, you were in Tamerlane, where you slaughtered the entire crew of merchants.
So in Fallout, there is a charisma tier called Good-Natured Rascal. And I'd like to think that's what we're good-natured rascals.
Yeah, you also rescued the mines of Tamerlane. I forgot to mention that good deed that you guys had done.
So really, I mean, in the grand scheme of things,
we're good-ish.
Yeah. I mean, we're leaning more toward neutral.
You head over to the Wet Trout. As you approach the Wet Trout, there is a sign with it looks like two trouts that are sort of hanging next to each other and there's a water drop in the middle of it. And you enter the Wet Trout. Let me pull up the map of the Wet Trout. Hang on. We got an audio skip here. This bar is a little bit more lively than the other ones. As you enter, there is a dragonborn woman wearing a apron that looks over at all of you and she goes, "Ah, look what the cat drug in. I recognize you. You're that crew of people been going around do-gooding everywheres. Well, you ain't getting any free food here. Get a seat." The only other face you immediately recognize is Scython, who is the tiefling man that previously ran the ferry, who you had gotten some information from at the very beginning, and he's sitting alone drinking as you all enter and sit down. Do you sit with Scython, or do you go elsewhere?
I'll look at the around at the others and say, wasn't Nildar supposed to be with the ferry? Maybe Scython knows something.
It was Dearth that was supposed to
Sure.
be there. Nildar is the one that you captured and left with Trovis. And Trovis apparently was the one that sent the missive to Speaker Wayland after he captured Nildar. Yeah. So do you go over to Scythen? Scythen looks at you all as you sit down around the table with him, and he says, "Bless me souls! I remember you all. It's been nigh 10 days since I seen you last. Nigh on a month. I've heard the rumors, though. My ear's always to the ground around these parts. I hear you rescued the mead out of Goodmead in the mines of Termalaine and destroyed the monster of Mare Dweldwin in Bremen. And, there were a few other things that maybe didn't happen, but hiking crew out of... we shan't mention them. Sad souls, dead as they were. I have news of East Haven. If you care to join me for ale, honey mead, straight out of Goodmead. The local fishers here they discovered what happened. We had another crew of adventurers come through. As it turns out, there was a wicked hag that was luring fishermen to their deaths, trapping them and cursing them with evil spells. Fortunately for us, a powerful group of wizards came through and took care of the evil hag. She troubles our fishers no more the waters. So, tell your tales. I must know. And he told you that what had happened with the fishermen here, you'd been hired by the town guard, or promised the town guard you'd look into it, but sort of ran off other directions. He tells you that it was an evil hag that was cursing the sailors, that another crew of adventurers, or actually he calls them wizards, powerful wizards, has took care of, and the city of East Haven is grateful for it. What questions have you, or what say you?
I would love to show them our victory over the lake monster, but we turned it into a boat and gave it away. You turned it into a boat. As he laughs at this story, that is an incredible tale. An incredible tale. Harkus has hides for just about everything else we fought, but not the lake monster.
Well,
and if you actually say that out loud, a single tear runs down.
Well, it is the story and the memories of your adventures that count, I suppose. What brings you back here to the wet trout? He looks over at Ordella and says, "My lady?"
Indeed.
What brings you back? What brings you back to the wet trout?
Just seeing the sights and drinking the mead. Bury myself in my mead.
Well,
we're looking for
the mead is good.
We're looking for Hillen Trollbane.
Ah, Hillen. She's a regular about these parts. She'll probably be in any minute. She usually makes her way here around noontime. She claims to be a former adventurer. Or weren't we all one day?
Until you took an arrow to the knee, right?
Level 20 or something like that, They all claim to be level 20. And I am a 6th degree black belt. It is about this time that you see a familiar dwarven face, as Hillen Trollbane does indeed enter the bar on the opposite side, far from you all. and walks over into the corner and plops herself down at a table and signals to Nymetra, the dragonborn woman working, for her usual. Hillen has appeared.
All right. She better be well provisioned today, because she owes us like a small fortune.
Okay. Are you going up to Hillen?
But I'm going to wait for her to get her drink and then sort of wave her over to us.
It takes a minute or two, and then she gets her drink. She doesn't seem to have made notice of you or you trying to get her attention and signal to her.
I'll signal. I'll try to wave and get her attention.
Okay. You do so. And she approaches all of you and says, "Well, bless me stars. I don't remember what Hillen's voice was like, but I'm gonna go with Mrs. Bighead from Rocco. Well, bless me stars. If it isn't Dude's crew, I've heard you've become quite the adventurers. I've noticed that the murders seem to have stopped around the time that it seems Torga's befell an unfortunate event with a bunch of bandits that rumor is they was attacked by bandits that raided them and destroyed them. You guys wouldn't know anything about that now, would you?" She sort of like winks a bit.
The dangerous world out there, anything can happen.
I assume then that old Blue Eyes met his demise.
I've got one of the icy daggers, so I'll just sort of.
You produce it.
Do we have something else of his or something?
You took his.
Could
I've got
recite
the
his
short sword.
confession.
What to?
I said I could recite his confession in his voice, but I don't know if what's his face is still at the table.
He's still there. Dragonborn
So-
Scythen is still there.
Nothing
You
good.
produced the daggers. He had basically a dagger and a frostbrand. So you produce the daggers. Hillen looks over at all of you and she says, "Excellent, most excellent. I suppose then you're here about repayment then, eh? Well, 100 gold it is." And she takes out a small satchel, and she passes you, we're going to say each 100 gold.
Sweet.
She says, "It's hard times in this world, but I managed to collect a small fortune in my adventuring times, and if I can spend some of it to put some wrongs that I can't do with my, my physical body anymore, then I'm more than willing to do so. But good job, Toots crew, or Leonard and the meatbags. I suppose I've heard that one as well."
True. It's true.
So you have 100 gold. Hillen says, "I don't suppose you've uncovered any more about why the whole world is going to hell in your adventures, have you?" Getting there, I suppose. Getting there. You're on it.
We're getting there.
On our to-do list.
Got it. I've heard a bunch of other stuff that you guys did. I will personally thank you for the beer, because I do believe that Hillen might not be here if the beer wasn't. So thanks for that. And she raises a glass. Nymetra comes around and she's like, "Yeah, That's a silver. I just noticed Nymetra and Helen have the same voice. That's 1 silver per ale. Pay up. You all can mark off a silver for your ales. 1/10 of a gold, so whatever. You guys are rich now. You also have a bunch of Termalanes that you swipe from the mines too, so
Oh, that's right.
whoever took those has like swarming with money. I hope you wrote them down.
I think most of us converted them to gold in real time.
Already did. Okay, got it. That would make sense. Helen says, well, thank you for your service, and if I find out any more jobs to make the world better, you guys are going to be top of my list. 100% top of my list. But
All right.
I got nothing else right now.
Well, now that we're a little drinky and it's midday, and we've got our pockets brimming with cash.
Yep.
I think it's time to buy some stuff.
Okay. In honor of your birthday, Melissa, you are able to study the sword that you found.
Yay, it's about time.
Where did you find it? You found it in
Lord, I don't even remember. It's been a while.
Yeah,
I think it was the Dwarven Ruin or the Duergar.
Yes, in the Duergar base, the Duergar outpost, you found this sword. Melissa, what you have found is a dancing longsword. It is a +1 magical sword, and it is a dancing sword. With a dancing sword as a bonus action, you may toss the magical sword into the air and speak a command word. What's your command word?
Don't know.
You can decide on what it is. When
Okay.
doing so, the sword hovers and flies up to 30 feet and can attack one creature of your choice within 5 feet of it. If the sword uses your attack roll and ability score modifiers for damage and everything. While the sword is hovering, you can use a bonus action to cause it to fly up to 30 feet to another spot within 30 feet of you. So it can't be more than 30 feet from you. So it's not like you can send the sword 700 feet away. So it's like within a 30-foot radius of you, basically. But you've got a sword that you can sort of sling around within 30 feet of you. And as a bonus action, make it swing, and it's magical.
Sweet.
After the hovering sword attacks for the 4th time, it flies up to 30 feet and tries to return to your hand. If you don't have a free hand, it lands at your feet, and if the path to you is blocked, it falls to the ground in the way. It tries to get as close to you as it can before it falls to the ground.
Okay.
So you have to kind of be aware of where you're sending it.
Sweet.
You guys are going to the market. Man, y'all aren't going to fight anything today. We're just going to go shopping. It's another shopping episode. I'm cool with that. All right. I'm going to keep the same, hubbub music on for the market. You guys head out into the market square. And I'm going to bring up the market square map for you real quick. It is not as inviting as you remember it being. As most markets are not as inviting as you remember them being. It's cold and windy. There's a few people out on the streets. There are some market stalls around and shops and stores. There is sort of the general trade market where random items can be found that adventurers have basically it's a flea market where there's all sorts of either real or fake magical items or real or non-real like trinkets and things, and then there are the shops of like verified stuff. You were going to a potion shop, Harkus, if you're not on the phone still. Harkus may still be on the telephone. Where headest the rest of you guys? There's the general flea market, and then there are stores of potions, magical items. One of the magical item stores you have marked to probably avoid.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to tell you this, that does cut down on the number of like magical items that you're going to be able to find because you have burnt that bridge.
I
I
may
go to
like
the-
if it sounds something interesting, I may like send somebody with some money and an order.
So you're just
Pull
gonna
my collar
so
up over my
wait,
face.
wait. So you're gonna Uber Eats a magic item. You're grub hubbing a magic sword, basically.
Either that or go in there like, hey, remember me?
Yeah, I bet they
not.
will. I bet they will. Okay, where are you guys headed?
Leonard is going to the market, like the general stalls, where I might get something good, but might find trash. Because that's the most exciting thing for me. I would love to have an attunable magic item, but I really just like the thrill of the gambling. So
Yeah, This is one of the cool mechanics that I like to include in some games. Yeah, you can go there and roll me a D100 and a D20, and I will pull up my tables of real and fake. And you can haggle it.
Bless you.
73 and 17. Give me just a second. I gotta find the spreadsheet.
oh, take your time.
I mean, I didn't have it pulled up, so I've got.
I'm on the phone with work, but I want market roulette.
Okay. Busy man. All right. Okay. You find. Interesting. As you're sort of searching around and scavenging around, you find the thing that catches your eye the most is an amulet. But you don't have any attunable magic items, do you, Leonard?
I do not.
You're like the only person that does not have an attunable magic item.
Well, I got the Sword of Life Stealing, and it's just not my bag. So I gave that away.
Yeah, you're artificing. You're looking for something like in that sort of like vein. Okay. You find a amulet that is interesting to you.
I'm going to look at it closer and ask see what it looks like and how much it is.
Yeah. Let me just clear this off real fast here. Sorry. It has a depiction of a wings and like birds' wings on it. And the seller describes that this came from the jewelry collection of a very wealthy, noble person that lived in the city of Bryn Shander and was bought in a bulk item at like an estate sale and has been sort of passed around hither and yon. And they don't really know anything about it other than that it's a like estate jewelry item of some sort. It catches your eye because it looks kind of old and unique.
Okay, what does he want for it? What do you want for it?
He wants, I would say, 25 gold. Sort of as a rare, unique art piece.
I'm going to offer him, 20 because I've seen the same sort of thing around.
Okay, I've seen an old amulet with birds' wings on it before. Okay. Roll persuasion.
Let's see. Persuasion is a +0. All right, so this is a straight up D20.
Yeah, he'll take 20 gold.
Okay, I'll give him 20 for it.
Yeah, okay. He takes 20 gold and he hands you the amulet with wings on it.
I'm going to put it on.
Okay. You as you put it on, you do feel a disturbance in like the weave. So you can tell that it has some sort of magical property to it. You think that it probably would require your attunement or your time or somebody to cast Identify to either your time or someone to cast Identify to figure out what it is.
Well, I'll sit and fiddle with it while everybody else is looking around.
Okay, if you take the hour to fiddle with it and attune to it, you determine that what you have is an amulet of Featherfall. Basically, anytime you are able to fall at will, it has a charge limit on it, but up to 3 times per day, you can cast Featherfall upon yourself.
Oh, nice.
So heights are not a thing that are going to scare Leonard anymore.
Nope.
And the beauty of Featherfall is that you can choose up to 5 falling creatures within range.
Nice.
Oh,
when you cast it. So you can do that up to 3 times per day. It has that same mechanic where if you use the 3rd charge, there's a chance that it blows up, that the amulet like self-destructs.
All right, so 2 charges a day.
You can use the 3rd, but you have to roll a d20, and if you roll a 1, it blows up. So it's not a high chance, but it's like a 5% chance if you use the 3rd charge that the amulet cracks and is destroyed.
All right, love it.
So basically, all but one of you don't have to worry about falling anymore.
And I get to pick. Mid-fall.
Leonard gets to choose. Toot has wings. They're just vestigial. You're like a penguin. All right. What are you doing, Granite Guts? Are you shopping at the market? Or are you going to spend your hard-earned money on real stuff? Are you rolling for random things?
I actually have an item to pick up since we're back in town.
Okay.
I commissioned a garment to put over
Marcus,
my
I need
armor.
both of the rolls. I have a reference that they're sort of like, what was the d20? Okay, got it. 91 and 6. All right. I'll get to that in a minute. What are you're going to get a garment?
Yeah, so I was having a garment put together that was basically going to show off my my rank in my order.
Yeah, you're able.
I believe
to
it was going to have like embroidered mushrooms on it.
Yeah, you're able to go and collect that, and it is gorgeous and beautiful. And I don't remember how much we agreed to pay for it. This is like from episode 2, so I don't recall. But it is just a beautiful thing, and it has mushrooms on it. And I don't think, did it have any magical properties? Did you bargain for that, or was it just a cloak? I think it was just a cloak.
I think it was just a cloak. I mean, it would be nice.
It looks nice enough that it could probably be enchanted by some wizard or like enchanter for a proper price. It would be expensive.
That would be handy.
It would be expensive, and you would have to go to like a sage to have it done. Enchanting an item to become magical would cost hundreds of gold potentially. You know.
Gotcha.
But this is well made enough that it could be enchanted.
How long would that take?
Depends on what you want done.
Gotcha.
The level of the spell you want to enchant it with, the higher the level, the harder. If you enchant it with a 1st level spell or something, not as hard, not as long.
Gotcha.
Depending on what you'd like it to do.
Okay.
If you want it to be a cloak of billowing that just makes you look really fancy, then I'll just give you that for minimal gold.
So I'll go ahead and pay for the cloak.
What would you say is a fair price for this beautiful item?
7 silver.
Let's try again.
How about 7 gold?
How about 10?
How about 8?
How about 9?
Sold.
All right, 9 gold. Okay. You got that. That's what you're doing at the moment. What is, and I know what Harkus is doing, so I'll jump to Harkus real fast here. Harkus, you went to the market to roulette your way, and you rolled a 91 and a 6. You're also going to get yarn too. Got it. Okay. 91 and a 6. Okay. This gives you... Okay. Hang on, I'm sorry. I'm referencing the list here. The thing that catches your eyes the most is a coin. Coin and a small set of bones that sort of are with it in like what looks like a gaming set that is of interest to you. So the seller tells you that it is a some sort of gaming set that was left here by that was found in a barbarian camp. They don't know the rules to the game, and they don't know like what exactly you did, but there are these like carved bones in sort of odd shapes, and this coin that seems to be made out of like some sort of sturdy wood or something that has markings on it. That's the most interesting thing you found. He wants like 5 gold for it because it's rare and weird.
Okay, I'll pay 5 gold for the weird bone game.
Weird bone game. All right. Yeah, 5 gold and a weird bone game. As you're sort of teetering with it and playing with it, you notice that when you flip the coin, the bones sort of like jump in sort of a weird, like by themselves kind of way, and land in sort of different and sort of strange arrangements, which is odd.
This seemed like the kind of thing I could spend some time with and figure out, or
maybe it depends on how clever you are, and or you might have to like find somebody that's an expert in it.
What does the coin just look like? A coin? Is it?
It's like a wooden coin, and it has markings on each side, or you sort of examine it. It has like markings that are in some sort of language that you don't really understand. They told you it was like in a barbarian camp, found by adventurers and sold here as they were unloading all the crap that they found. It says he paid 2 gold for it. He sold it to you for 5.
Giant. Does it look like giant?
Nope, not giant.
Okay.
It's like scratchings.
Okay. I feel like
What languages do you speak?
Common, giant, goblin, and orc.
It's closest to maybe goblin, but it's not goblin.
Okay.
Goblin or orc. It's like closest to those, but not really. You show it to anybody else if anybody else might have the language in your group.
Yeah, I'm gonna show it to my robot friend.
Robot friend, what languages do you have?
Knows anything?
I have Common, Deep Speech, Gnomish, and Primordial.
Hey, the letters are sort of deep speech, but the language doesn't make any sense. Like it's like the markings of what would be deep speech, but like the words or whatever like is on it makes no sense.
Huh. Do I know from a lore perspective or a history perspective, do I know any languages that are similar to deep speech from a font perspective?
Roll history. I guess you would know this probably without much of a roll.
Oh, well, I wasted an 18.
Yeah. Infernal.
Okay, so Infernal, maybe Abyssal.
Infernal or Abyssal.
Some demonic but it's a game Or
Yep.
it is a game.
They told you it was a game. They told you it was a game.
Or perhaps a scrying device. I don't know.
Yeah, you think it might be a scrying device of some sort.
Throw
Something
in
like
the
that.
bones.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. What's that called? Where they throw the bones.
The throwing of the bones.
Bone?
I was about to say bone throwing.
Bone?
Bone throwing.
Bones.
There probably
reading the
is like
bones. You're like reading the bones. Or something.
Yeah, something like that. Augury.
Look at you in the Google machine.
Yeah, that sounds fancier.
Yeah,
Book club.
augury. All right. So that's what you found. What are you doing, Ordella? I'll skip to you next.
I am just kind of like watching everybody shop and still keeping my hood up and
You're able to find
kind of
thread.
look over their shoulders.
You're able to find thread, by the way. What quality of thread are you purchasing?
Oh, it's not good quality. What I'm doing is I'm tiring a yarn ball for
Oh,
my cat.
This costs you a couple
Wow.
silver. This costs you a few copper. You find a yarn ball for a few copper.
And as I'm tying the yarn ball, I'm stuffing bits of Yeti jerky inside the yarn ball.
The cat is tremendously happy. Ordella, you're keeping an eye out, looking over your shoulder, watching for angry shopkeepers that want to come beat you up. Are you looking to spend your money anywhere, or what doest you?
You know what? I wouldn't mind playing market roulette at a place that's definitely not that
All right.
that one guy.
Give me the market roulette is not that shop. That is a place where you can actually buy things, like that you know what they are.
Uh-huh.
All right, give me a D20 roll and a D100 roll, and I will reference my sheet.
Okay.
Holy crap. Okay.
I hope that's so good.
Yeah, you'll find out if it's
Uh-huh.
good or not. You find the most interesting thing you find is a which is really out of place in the same like grouping where Harkus found his like bone game. There is a metal cube that appears to be made out of like solid metal, and it has perfectly cubic lines, 1 inch in each diameter on each side. And do you know anything about metal, Ordella?
I'm a blacksmith by trade, so
Okay, so if you're a blacksmith
hope
by
so.
trade, there is no like weld seam or anything. It looks to be like perfectly forged into a perfect square. And maybe that's what catches your eye about it, is that it is absolute perfect square. The person that's got it there, as you're sort of fiddling with it, says, "That's a weird thing, isn't it? Like a
Indeed. Where did it
solid
come from?
They found it in some barbarian camp. The people that was here before you, they sold it to me for. I bought it because I thought it looked weird, but I could let it go for maybe like 10, 15 gold, something like that. We'll say 15 gold.
That
Too
seems
high.
like
That's
a
where I'm
lot.
starting at.
That seems like
Look.
a lot. Does it do anything other than paperweight?
I mean, it's like it's beautiful to look at. It's this like I've never seen anything like it. Like it's perfect looking, square with these beautiful sides on it. I don't know that it does nothing, but I think it's made out of like platinum or something. Probably in like some king's like jewels or something. It's probably like ancient Elvish. They always have the ancient Elvish.
Does it have any writing on it? It's
Nope.
just
Absolutely no writing.
blank metal cube, not even like a salt shaker or anything.
Nope. Blank metal cube.
Okay.
Is it like a Rubik's cube? Yeah, just
It-
for
yeah.
the viewers
Just-
at home.
Solid.
Solid on each side, made out of shiny metal.
But it does have the line sort of segmenting it, like
No.
a Rubik's cube. Oh
No,
oh,
it is
sorry.
like
Really
one
smooth.
square, really smooth.
I
That
had
was what was
drawn
weird
in my
about it, is how
mind
smooth it was.
as a Rubik's cube that just looked really metal and shiny.
I guess I'll offer him 10 gold for it.
Roll persuasion. You're gonna buy the paperweight. He looks at you and says, I'd feel better with, say, 12.
Fine, 12.
12 gold. You have the metal paperweight.
Metal paperweight. It's pretty, at least.
It's heavy in your hand. Really heavy.
I can use it as a weapon and chunk it at somebody at the very least.
You don't know how funny of a statement that is, actually. That you don't know how humorous of a statement that actually is.
It's a grenade, isn't it?
Not exactly. Yatara, you're up.
Actually, did you say it was Elvish?
He just sort of said, like, it's probably Elvish or something. You don't actually know, but
It's got
Elvish.
no markings on it.
There's no markings on
No
it.
marking.
Anybody that has
Actually,
identify could cast identify on it and know what it is.
I was going to say, can I actually just, Ordelis, I'm going to come up to you and ask you if I can take a look at it.
Sure, as long as it doesn't make you see the space whales.
Yeah, as you pick it up, it's heavy. It's solid metal. It feels solid. Perfect cube. The lines on it are absolutely perfect.
Since I'm
which is-
Elvish, do I know potentially any history about it?
You roll me a history check. Ooh. You query your memory of Elvish stuff, and you're certain this is not Elvish, but you have heard of things that are like this. This could be imbued with some sort of magic. Like things like this are sometimes imbued with magic. But it's not Elvish. You're certain of that.
Ardella, if you mind if I cast Identify on it?
Go ahead.
Is that a ritual spell for you, or are you spell slot?
It is, yeah. Ritual, so 10 minutes.
Just takes 10 minutes. Ordella, you hold in your hand, or Ordella, you used to hold in your hand, Adarin's instant fortress. You can use an action to place this 1-inch metal cube on the ground and speak its command word. The cube rapidly grows into a fortress that remains until you use the action command word to dismiss it. Which only works if the fortress is empty. The fortress is a square tower, 20 feet on one side, 30 feet on the other, with arrow slits on all sides, and a battlement on top of it. Its interior is divided into 2 floors with a ladder running to connect the two. The ladder ends on a trapdoor on the roof. When activated, the tower is a small door on the side facing you. The door only opens at your command and is immune to the knock, spell, and chime of opening. Each creature in the area when the fortress appears must make a DC 15 dexterity saving throw, or take 10d10 bludgeoning damage on a failed save, or half as much on a successful one, as the creature is pushed into an unoccupied space as the fortress is appearing. So I suppose you could chuck a fortress at them. Forcing
whatever works.
Forcing the creature that you threw a castle on top of to make a dexterity saving throw, or have a castle appear on them.
10d10.
It technically says you have to place it on the ground, so you would have to put it down on the ground and I guess run.
Wow.
But yeah, Darren's instant fortress. That's a weird one that came up in our
that's incredible.
That's a really, really strange one. I've never had that one pop out of the list before. But I'm kind of glad you found it. That's pretty cool.
That is.
Probably better than coin flipped bones.
You don't know.
I mean, we're gonna find out.
Unless it somehow conjures another dead evil spirit.
No one has cast Identify on it.
Wizard needs to get over there and identify it.
It's the wizard's turn if he is shopping at the roulette shop or if he is buying something in an actual store. And they're not going to let you go around and just identify every item. Let me hold this for 10 minutes, please.
Pardon me.
Don't mind me. No, I'm not buying it. I just
want to.
holding it.
Inspecting it.
I just want to caress it for 10 minutes before purchasing. It's my way.
You put it back. No, thank you. Not this one. Now I'm going to hold this one.
You know what? Actually, I'll buy something weird.
Okay. Are you going into like one of the magic stores and looking for like the
No,
weirdest thing?
I'll play roulette.
Play roulette. All right. Give me the same rolls, D100 and D20, please. See what we find.
Well,
9 and 5. The weirdest thing you find is a set of handcuffs that have similar scratchings on them that you saw on the coin that they were looking at earlier. The person that is selling these handcuffs, they look like just sort of like regular old irons. He says, I don't got the key for them, so careful where you close those things on, unless you know it's a locksmith. They're good irons. I suppose if you know a locksmith, you could get a key made for them. I'm not sure what these weird markings on them is, but for good irons, I mean, I'd say 15. We'll say 18 gold. I'm giving away
18
my.
gold without a key.
You drive a hard bargain. 15. They're good irons. You could get a key made. I know a locksmith right down the path. Charge you 5 silver for rekey it.
I'll do 13 gold.
He'll take it. 13 gold. A pair of weird-looking shackles. Okay. And has anybody not gone? Where are
I'll
we?
do roulette.
Okay. Give me your rolls, Toot. 8 and 96. Okay. Oh, that's interesting. Toot, as you're sort of looking around, you find a cloak that sort of interests you, that you think is it billows out interestingly, and just as fancy looking.
May I try this on?
Yeah, absolutely. As you do, it's sparkly, like the cape glows beautifully.
This would be perfect if I decided to take up that residency. How much?
He looks and says, well, I would say it has colors that are just radiating out from it. And he says, for this cloak, 40 gold.
40.
Beautiful item. None like it. You'll never find anything like it.
A little rich, though. I mean, can you do 30?
Roll persuasion.
Which is fine by me, as long as it's not happening at my house. I'm quite entertained.
Yeah, he'll take 30.
Okay.
You have the cloak. It is a gorgeous cloak item. And yeah, has anybody not had a turn to either roulette or to shop anywhere?
I would still like the healing potions at some point in time.
Okay.
You could-
How many? They're 50 gold each for a potion of healing. How many
Yeah.
of them are you going to purchase?
I would like 3 of them, please.
Okay, just mark off 150 gold, and you can mark off 3 healing potions. The name of the shop is The Second Chance. And you have 3 potions of healing. Anybody else buying any potions or anything like that?
I'd like
I
to
will.
get some healing potions.
50 gold each.
Okay, I'll get a couple.
Okay. You mark off
Same.
100 gold. Same to you. You can mark off however many gold of them you're going to buy. They are 50 gold each. There's not really any argument about the price for them. They're not willing to haggle. It is
Okay.
The price is what it is. Okay. Are you identifying the other items?
I mean, Cantrell, do you want me to identify your bones?
Yes, please.
You have found some bones of augury, actually. What you can tell is that you flip the coin and you ask a question, and the bones, or like orientation of them, provide an answer to your question in the form of like a yes, no, good, bad, or indeterminate. And it works basically once per day. You don't know who is answering the question. It is some entity that is more powerful than you. Flip the coin, answer the question, ask your question.
Yeah.
And the bones land in a way that will provide you an answer.
Sorry,
Bones
do you mind
Vault.
taking a look at this one too?
Okay.
Yeah.
Toot. You have a you have a coat of many colors. This is a sort of homebrew magical item. When you put it on, it just radiates shifting tie-dye colors. It's gorgeous and provides you no benefit other than it makes you look really fabulous.
Sometimes that's all you need.
Not magical at all. You just look good.
Well, that's magic in itself.
Just looks real good on you. And Yatara, what did you grab? I can't even remember what item you found.
I guess the rusty handcuffs.
The rusty handcuffs. If you're identifying them, you have found a pair of dimensional shackles. Dimensional shackles, you can use these an action to place these shackles on an incapacitated creature. They fit anything from small to large size. And the shackles prevent a bound creature from using any method of extra-dimensional movement, including teleportation or travel to a different plane of existence. Want to stop something from teleporting away or going to a different plane? Slap these babies on them, and your entity will not be leaving. How do you stop interplanar travel? Dimensional shackles.
Rusty shackles.
Indeed. They can be broken. They're a DC 30 strength check to break them. So, you probably can't hold, like, Asmodeus in them or something. Like, because eventually, like, he may pass a DC 30 strength check. But a lot of things you could hold. Probably not like Tiamat. As you all are standing around in the city streets doing your shopping, eventually, as you're sort of shopping around, a crew of what looks like guards and soldiers eventually appears. And they approach all of you. One of them you recognize. Granite Guts, you particularly recognize the woman, Captain Imdra Algrath, who you had previously spoken to about the missing sailors. And she looks over at you from her captain's uniform and looks at all of you and says, Speaker Whalen requests your presence. And there is a man in the background, and he looks over to her and says, Oh, Imdra, enough of it. And he looks over at all of you and says, I'm Speaker Whalen. I think we should all talk. I have heard of your arrival here in East Haven. Please, come with me. And I think that is as good of a place as any to wrap it up for the evening.
Because this was the answer to where do we go to figure out what's next, or one of those questions.
All of these places you've been have been part of that answer. I hope that it is things are moving.
We're slowly putting it together, I think.
Slowly but
Not
surely.
that I have any clue what's going on.
Well, neither do I. So
I'm really
we'll
interested to see what this speaker says, because depending on what that looks like, my fealty to the accord that we have with those zombies up north is very tenuous. And so starting a little bit of something with them would be a very interesting idea.
Yeah. So
And I'm sure that the other speakers would not appreciate the idea of one of their other speaker kin being sort of led around by the nose.
Perhaps. You know about that the Black Network has some involvement here, and that there are some speakers that are under the influence of the mafia, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And you also know that Hillen told you to be wary of the politics and who you trusted.
Oh,
And it
that's
seems
right.
For good reason.
That's right.
So, just to be aware. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you guys enjoyed Market Roulette. You found some cool stuff. I can't believe you rolled a crit roll and got the instant fortress.
I
think that basically means that like you no longer need the like tiny hut. Now it's like we sleep in our portable castle.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it seems
Liamon's portable fortress.
Yeah, seems like an appropriate birthday present.
I know, that's what I was thinking. I was like, it's my birthday for reals.
All right, I hope you guys had a good time. I'm sorry, I had a whole combat set up if you'd like gone
If we'd
to combat.
left the city.
We chose shopping instead.
You found a fortress, you found some bones, you found some cool stuff, you found some dimensional shackles, you got some random rare items. I love throwing out some random rare stuff occasionally when you make it through to the big city, so this may be the last time you Market Roulette.
I thought for sure I was going to Market Roulette a flame tongue sword.
Of course you
You
would.
have a flame tongue.
I know,
I
but for
gave you a flame tongue.
For all the 65 that we missed, I thought for sure now it would just rain down.
They've all shown up in the Market Roulette. Yep. There actually is a flame tongue in the Market Roulette.
Oh, but not for you.
The very best item in all of Market. Actually, I think a Darren's Instant Fortress might be the best item in all of Market that I had in all of Market Roulette. That might be the best one.
You guys can set your sights low from now on.
I had a belt. There was a belt of giant strength. There were some gauntlets of ogre power. There are a few other like pretty cool stuff, but I think that the Darren's Instant Fortress might be the best item.
Yay!
Well, good night, everybody. I hope you guys had a good time.
Of yes and no.
Well, now Melissa's whole game is going to be I throw a fortress on him.
I'm the Wicked Witch.
Yeah. You basically drop a house on them like Dorothy Wizard of Oz style.
Yeah.
How do I defeat the big bad? I drop a cast. Yeah. I'm gonna be like the Frostmaiden gathers her strength and begins to cast her spell upon you all. Ice flows from her veins and her fingertips grow blue. And then Melissa's like, I drop a house on her.
I mean, we put a window in the last.
Roll in Oz.
All right. Good night, everybody. I hope you guys have a good evening.
See ya.
Oh,
See you next week.